Welcome to toy-polloi.
Hello and welcome to another video from toy-polloi. Today we're going to be reviewing Orko from He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Origins line. Now this is another of the Wave 2 figures. I've previously reviewed the Manny Faces figure from this Wave 2, and here we have Orko. As you can see, he comes on the sort of standard card that all of these figures come from. This is a European version of the card. You can tell that because the little bubble here that normally says retro play has been changed to say includes comic in a few different languages, and also Orko's subname has been removed. So normally under these characters it will give you a little bit more information, but on this one it just says Orko. So the front of the cards really do look all the same. Behind the figure you can see there is a comic which we will take a look at later, and this is the Orko figure, who doesn't come really with any accessories apart from this little stand that you can sort of display him on, and the stand looks like a sort of a magical puff of smoke or something like that. I actually quite like the look of that just in this packet, so it'll be interesting to see what that is like out of the packet. Now with the Manny Faces that I reviewed, there were a few issues with the paint application, and I can see straight away with this Orko, even though he's not been removed from the packet, that the paint has actually been quite badly applied to the O on the front of his chest. Considering there is so few bits of paint on this figure, to get that and have it already damaged in the packet just shows the sort of lack of quality control that Mattel are doing on these figures. I thought that some of them have certainly really lacked that sort of finesse that you would expect on something that costs nearly £15. So yeah, immediately you can see that that is a little bit damaged. If we turn the card over, the back of it, again because this is a European card, is missing all of the info and text. They've removed that on all of these, so you see Orko doing a few little moves here but with no information about them, and then the other figures in the wave. So we've got He-Man, Skeletor, Manny Faces, Orko, Trapjaw and Scareglow. At the top we have quite a nice image of Orko attacking Beastman with a bucket of water while Man at Arms watches in the background, and immediately I saw this I thought actually it'd be really quite nice if they'd included this bucket with Orko, but as you can see they haven't. Maybe that's something they could do in future. It'd be nice, you know, that you could recreate these little scenes that they have in the background. So a bucket sort of accessory would have been quite a good one to add with him, considering he comes with so few other pieces. But that's just me sort of thinking of these things. I'm sure Mattel worry about costs more than about sort of playability on a lot of these. But really what you want to see is this out of the packet. So let's open it up and then we can compare it to my vintage original Orko, who is sitting in the background. So Orko is now out of the packet, but we'll start by taking a look at the comic book that comes with it. Now this is the European version of the comic, and I'll show you the difference on this straight away. The fact that this has no text inside it and has no name on the front of it. This is just how they do them for European versions, because they have to be in multiple languages. They decide that rather than putting any language on it, you have none. If we look at the American version of this comic, you can see it does actually have a name called Double Trouble, and if we open that you can see it has lots of speech bubbles. I do think this is quite a shame that they have done this. There would have been sort of simple ways to fix it. They could have put a QR code or something on the back of it, and you could have gone to a website and chosen your language just to see what this all meant. But there's nothing, so anybody who picks one of these up in Europe, you basically get a comic that really makes no sense. It's got some nice pictures in it but no information. Maybe in future Mattel could go down that route and actually do an online version of these that you can read in multiple languages. I think that would be quite a nice thing to do, and probably quite easy to do. So yeah, if you get the European version, be prepared to have just a blank sort of comic like that you can't read. But now let's get on to the figure. So here is the Orko figure, and I have to say initially I do really like it. The fact that he is just that bit more posable really does make quite a big difference. You can rotate his hands, he's got elbow joints, he's got shoulder joints, and also his head is much more posable, so you can really rotate that around and give him some quite good expression expressions, considering he is just a pair of eyes on a black ball, I think that does work really quite nicely. And I like the head itself. The hat is really nicely sculpted. Unlike the vintage original one where you can remove the hat, this is all moulded and sort of stuck together, so there's no way of removing that. But you know, even with that, it still looks really quite nice. The paint application on the eyes is good, but as I showed you, the O on the front, even sort of in the packet, this was scratched and damaged, and I do think there's a few sort of quality control issues that Mattel have on these, that it would be nice if this was a little bit better painted. Considering this toy is sort of over 30 years old and the O on the front of that is in remarkably good condition, this one straight out of the packet looks a bit sort of second hand, so I think they could certainly do better with their quality control on those sorts of things. He does come with a stand, as you can see, and this has a sort of little movable piece so you can sort of pose him at different heights and different angles. And this is going to be one of those, you clip it in once and you can never get it out things, which is why I haven't done it off camera. So you can see you push this in, there's a clip in the bottom, and I imagine getting that back out would be quite awkward. So let's clip this in like so, and we'll put the figure on the stand so you can see what it looks like. So there you go, we've now got Orko sort of floating. I do actually quite like that. It's a nice sort of idea, possibly a little on the large side considering how big the figure is. This stand is sort of massive, but it does do a pretty nice job, and it does mean that you can actually sort of pose him and also display him floating like this. With the original one, he didn't come with a stand or anything. He came with a ripcord that you'd put in there and he would sort of whiz around the floor. So this one always looks a bit odd because he does sit on the floor. So I think this is a nice addition. Certainly does work quite well. And comparing the two figures, I think they really have improved this one because it does look so much more like Orko in the cartoon, just the way it's been put together. His hat, the shaping of his hat, his face. The original one always looked a little bit odd, the fact that his sort of hat is just too much perched on the top of his head. The body part of this I really like, but the hat just never looked quite right. I think they've really improved that. It's a much more vibrant colour, the new one as well, which I do quite like. It sort of is in keeping with the modern figures. They've made a lot of them a lot more sort of vibrant in colour, but on Orko it works particularly well because he's quite a sort of strange looking character anyway. And I think overall it is quite a nice figure. A little bit on the light side maybe, but they've possibly done that so that when you put him on the stand it doesn't fall over. But yeah, it's a very nice figure overall. Quality and paint issues aside, I actually think this is one of the better figures. I thought Beastman and Man-at-Arms were the sort of best ones from the first wave, and I think from the second wave, the ones I have so far, I like this one the most. It's really just has everything I want in an Orko figure. It's nice and poseable. It looks really quite cool. I do love the fact that you can pose his head and make him look sort of around and do sort of different poses. I think that is a really nice sort of addition. It's just a shame that the paint application on the O is a little bit poor quality. I think I'm going to end up repainting that myself and making that look a lot better. Now I do need to say a massive thank you to Tom Pizarro from the YouTube channel Pizarro's Pieces, who very kindly sent this to me. I recently appeared on one of his regular Monday evening live streams, and this was a gift that he sent to me as a thank you for appearing in that. I'm going to put a link in the description to that video, so if you want to go and check out the live stream that I did with Tom, it will be in the description, so do go and check that out. It was a really good fun evening. I hope this video has been of interest to you. If it has, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell to be notified each time I upload a new video, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching toy-polloi. Subscribe for more great videos. You can also follow toy-polloi on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.